Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Community Dev Call this week.
Hello.
Hi, Daniel. I like your Alex Gray avatar there. Nice. Cool. Well, we'll wait for a couple minutes here. Usually we get a few people sort of rushing in just shortly after the call start here. So we'll just sort of be waiting. Today we're going to be going over, we've got a lot of information to go over. So there's been several, I just published a big blog that walks through what we said in the white paper, what we're launching with, differences, similarities, full sort of disclosure of all the token allocations, what we said in the white paper, what it is, how that matches, just so everybody can like look through that. We're sort of going through this formal process leading up to mainnet launch. So yeah, I'm excited to walk through all the details of that. And if people have questions and comments, we'll have plenty of time to dig into that, hopefully. So yeah, a couple minutes afterwards. Welcome, Mircha. I think I'll probably just get started. And again, on these community dev calls, we try to keep it to about 15 minutes maximum of me kind of giving updates and then leave it open for the remainder of the 15 minutes to have questions, conversations, and dialogue about anything that is emerging. Great. So without further ado, I will share my screen and we'll get going. So welcome to the Regen Network Community Dev Update on our march towards mainnet launch. So the big update here is that you can now check your allocation if you're a contributing, if you contributed to the private sale or were a validator participating in the incentivized test nets, or in other ways have been contributing to the project with dev work or advising or any other way that you might have found a way to have regen tokens. You can check your allocation, and you can do that through Kepler wallet or the Anika Block Explorer. So DevNet 5 was relaunched with the Genesis allocations that were calculated from all of the contributions up until now. So this is the candidate that we're hoping is all up to snuff and there aren't any errors there, but please check your allocation. And if you have issues or questions about the allocation, you can submit a PR to Regen Network, the candidate repo on Regen Network's GitHub. So more big updates. So we shifted the Genesis date to April 15th. We wanted to do that because there was still a slight probability that we were going to need to change the date just because we're in this review process of the candidate Genesis file. There's all the technical auditing is all done already, but now we're sort of in the social auditing of like, hey, there's this Genesis file, there's a candidate, everybody go check your allocations. So we wanted to make sure that even if there are changes, we have enough time to hit a fixed date. And with launch on the 8th, it was going to be a really tight turnaround in case anything emerged, which, knock on wood, I'm not sure, we may not have anything emerge, but we wanted a little bit of space. So we feel 99.9% sure that we can hit that April 15th date. And what that enables and why we chose to move the date is just to be more public and sort of ambitious around announcing that there's a date instead of being more tentative about the launch. So that's our marketing team and community teams are happy about having a fixed date. So it's April 15th. So mark it in your calendars here. And that's going to happen at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm not sure. I don't remember the UTC time, 1400 maybe. So yeah, Excited. And for a couple of hours, an hour before, and then some time after that launch moment, we'll actually be live having sort of our community gather, and we're going to be talking about the science behind Regen Network, the blockchain technology behind Regen Network. We'll be hearing from different community members, and just sort of I'll be co-hosting kind of a variety show around that with our lead validators and the Regen Foundation. So it should be exciting. There is a fantastic postmortem blog about the test nets and sort of the technical auditing that was happening, and the results of the final incentivized test net. You can check that out on Medium. Anil just published that. Thank you, Anil. As I said, there's a white paper and allocations overview blog of just sort of step by step, how we said we were going to approach ecological data in the white paper and how it's being approached, and how we said we were going to approach credits and how they're being approached, what allocations we recommended in the white paper, what allocations we're launching with. So just step by step, all of the details there. Please go and have a look. If you've got questions, ping us on Discord, or better yet, go over to the discourse forum, which Dan just spun up. So we now have sort of a structured, threaded environment to have more in-depth conversations about modules that are going to come up into governance, and approaches as a community that we would like to take in different elements. So it's the first baby step towards sort of more dynamic community governance of the network. So it's a small step, but a big one. So you can head over to forum.regen.network, and if you're in our Discord, you can actually just authorize Discord, and you can sort of log in via your Discord login credential. Or you can also, I think we're working on OAuth integration with GitHub and some other things, or you can just use your email and log in and contribute there to the discussion. So these news items, I just want to reiterate this from last week. We have a Gitcoin bounty up for 10,000 Regen tokens for doing design, specification, and even some engineering if you're ambitious work around green NFTs, issuance, offsetting, interchain, interoperability. So go have a look. And if you're interested in that, or you have questions, again, just feel free to reach out. I wrote up the specification for that. So if it doesn't make sense, just ask me and I can try to clarify. I think it should be pretty clear, but there's also a Cosmwasm and Cosmos Riddle-thon going on. There's a link here so you can sort of just get a sense of what's happening there. And over the next few months, there's going to be different little tasks and things that are a little bit easier than a full-on hackathon or a bounty like we put on in Gitcoin, and hopefully that we'll be participating in the future. They're just smaller tidbits, go find a piece of information on a blockchain, go pull a piece of information from a smart contract, not necessarily sort of like doing development and deployment work. So sort of just baby steps there, opportunities for people who want to start learning tooling to just start engaging in kind of a light way. So as always, you can go check out our public Notion roadmap. There's also links on the website for up-to-date information about progress on the multiple teams. We cover the work that the science team does, the registry, the blockchain team working on the Cosmos SDK, and the work on the ledger, Regen Ledger itself, and our work in the larger open team community. There's sort of ticket items, and we keep progress of the larger epics that are underway. So as always, you can check out the community calendar here. I'll be, publishing this just like we do every week as a shareable slideshow, so you can access all these hyperlinks. There's a Google Calendar, which will have all of the key information about, just Genesis and other key dates. And actually, that reminds me, I want to just show everybody those key dates. so this is the blog that I just wrote up, and I just happen to know that here's the really important key dates over the next just period of time. Yesterday, we got the candidate chain up so people can check their allocations. Today, we're opening GenTX submissions for people who want to be Genesis validators, and the docs are going to be published shortly after this call for how to do that. So that's happening today. On this April 6th, the candidate chain is closing so that we have plenty of time in case any amendments to the candidate chain need to be made. And then again, Thursday, April 15th, 1500 UTC, we are launching Regen Network together. So that's the overview. That's the news. I'll stop presenting now and see if there's questions, comments, and any dialogue that seems appropriate.
I guess I just wanted to mention that we've got a wallet support Discord channel. Just make sure if you're running into any issues, you can go there, and me or one of the other team members will be assisting folks in case they don't remember how to connect to Kepler via the DevNet so they can get on the candidate chain and check their balances. So I'll be active in the wallet support channel if you need me.
Cool. Thank you. Cool. So Daniel's sharing that he's waiting for instructions on the GenTX and go through and come back with questions. That sounds great. Yeah.
They're great updates. So this discourse is a good place for people to start discussing ideas and start to roll in, just to build some kind of more threaded discussion. Is that true?
Yeah. So that's our hope. So if you have an idea for a module that you want to get added through governance to Regen Ledger, or an approach to ecological contracts or eco credits that feels enlivening or exciting that you want to sort of offer for people to contribute to, those are definitely fair game. I'll be spending some time with Dan to just start a couple of forum threads around the specific modules that we want to upgrade into shortly after Mainnet launch, so that there's a place with the links to GitHub and the docs, and people can have threaded conversation about things, and sort of like how I think we'll also start some conversations about best practices that we've witnessed in the larger Cosmos ecosystem around governance, and just like how to structure a proposal and things like that. So all of that hopefully will have a little bit more durable and interactive place for conversation than getting lost in like a Discord channel somewhere.
Yeah, the Discord is very like temporal, and it's hard to kind of keep on track. Just some thoughts as I'm talking with other companies and friends and organizations who are thinking, telling them about the mainnet, and they're just kind of turning their attention to things. It would be interesting. There's other experts on the call here, and other folks who are kind of, have various different kinds of expertise, and creating opportunities for these diverse stakeholders who already know what Regen Ledger offers to kind of collaborate and maybe build on each other's work, or take on projects together, that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to meeting other folks on the discourse on that note. So great.
Cool. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Other questions, comments, any information about that I missed in terms of just overview? Anil, do you want to speak about GenTX submission or anything?
Yeah, so we'll publish our GenTX instructions shortly after this call, and we will have a script which will be running for each PR to validate GenTX, and you can just understand if there are any issues with your GenTX submission. So you can just redo that. And yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and last week there was a bit of a discussion. Gregory, you were kind enough to briefly explain what it's going to take to become one of the top 50 validators. So I've went ahead and I've included that in a mini blog that I've just published, and I'll go ahead and share that in the Discord too, so everybody can take a look at that. It'll have a link to Anil's instructions on how to submit GenTX, talks a little bit about the candidate chain, and again, it outlines kind of the process and maybe a little bit of advice on how to become become one of the top 50. So that's already published now, in fact, and I'll throw that in the Discord and the Telegram, and maybe I'll even utilize the new discourse for that. So I'll start a thread around that and get some feedback. So
Cool. Yeah. Do you want to offer a quick synopsis of that, Dan? Just like, what is the key takeaway for, maybe at a process level? Because I know people have asked several times. I'm not sure if anybody on this call right now has asked, but
yeah, I mean,
like,
so
what does it mean to be in the top 50 validators? How is that chosen from a technical perspective?
Sure. Basically, like I'd mentioned in the blog, this is, a public blockchain. It's in many ways decentralized. So along with self-delegating, which you'll probably have to do in order to, get a good amount of tokens, since it will be kind of competitive, there's going to be a lot of delegation going on. You'll probably also want to, in some ways petition the community at large. So there's a lot of token holders out there, and they may not know who you are. So there's, you're going to want to find ways of conveying that, you are somebody who can be trusted. Do you have good infrastructure set up, backups? Do you know how to run a validator? So definitely one thing that I've seen other projects do is some of the validators, they create, websites that kind of go through and show some transparency on their process. And yeah, but basically, you're going to want to self-delegate. You're going to want to try to get delegations from others. Of course, R&D Inc. and the foundation will also have some criteria as to our delegations to you. So those are also published, but basically, well, at least a couple of them. And basically it's, are you contributing actively in the community? Are you aligned? Is your mission aligned with Regen's mission? So, self-delegation, some transparency. Are you following the mission? Are you participating in the community? Those are types of things that you want to, consider, are you that you're doing in order to become one of the top 50 validators. It's not a race like it has been in the past, where it's get your GenTX submission in and you're in. Basically it's you want to definitely, do this GenTX submission, and you want to self-delegate, and you want to be known to the community.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. I'm just noticing that there's been a little bit of chatter, and as Dan was pointing out, if you've got questions about just checking your balance, go to wallet support over there. And Anil, I noticed that there's a couple questions about the public RPC node, in case people want to check via command line interface. If you don't mind just hopping in there and sharing if just the link to the RPC.
Yeah, we'll share a link there.
That would be fantastic. And maybe also just share a link to Anika, because I think, you don't even have to use Kepler to check. You don't have to use the wallet to check. You can just put your address that you registered into the Block Explorer and you can see what your balance is.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I checked
Maybe
and
Dan, you can add that to your blog post as well. Those things.
Sure. Yeah, I'll make that edit.
What was that, Daniel?
I say I checked on the DevNet yesterday and is no balance, but I don't know when you deploy, maybe today. I don't know. Yesterday, nothing.
Yeah, it was deployed yesterday. I would check, and if you need to, you can ask questions in the wallet support there.
Yeah, I will check later. Yeah, no problem. Sure, we sort it.
Yeah, and I think you know, again, you can use just the block explorer if you want. Some people have been having issues because they're connecting to an old DevNet and need to like refresh the connection. Essentially, like you do need to refresh the connection between Kepler and the network.
Yeah, by default it's cordless.
Yeah. So Dan, that might be another just bit of instructions. I actually do think people need to refresh the network connection because it's going to the old.
Yeah, and the folks at Kepler are actually they're willing to actually address this too. So I'm in the middle of talking to them, so they might actually have some more insight on that. But yeah, I think you're right. Yesterday there were a couple folks that we just had them reconnect to the Kepler like they did during wallet registration, and then that cleared it right up. So
cool. Thanks for sharing the block explorer here for the candidate chain. For those who aren't, I'll just do a quick screen share. So, you know, you can just go here to prelaunch.regen.anika.io, which is the block explorer supported by Vitwit. And you can see, you know, it's a DevNet. It has a small number of validators running on it. But you can see, yeah, all the information, and you can check out, you can just enter in your, the address that you registered with right here, and it will show you your balance. And we could, you know, we could look through transactions and whatnot. So you can just sort of, yeah, see all the information. And, you know, really the step here is just go make sure that you have what you, what was in your SAFT agreement, or yeah, I mean, everybody got SAFT. So what was in your token agreement? Oh yeah, don't go to while we're here, I don't know if people saw this, but this is not us. By the way, this is a scam. Just PSA. I mean, we announced this on all channels last week. It's still up here. It just goes in an endless loop and says, you know, in 5 minutes, it's going to say that there's only an hour left. We don't know who put this up. We've been trying to figure out how to get it taken down. Anyway, there's no public sale. Yeah, unfortunate. Cool. Well, we just have a couple minutes here left before the top of the hour. Any other contributions or things that people feel are pertinent? We've sort of been pretty functional, pretty all business here, just to talking through all the logistics of marching towards Mainnet. Very happy if people have completely unrelated questions or comments. Those are all welcome here too.
I know I'm really excited. You know, I mean, I've just recently started with Regen, with R&D Inc. Like, I don't even know now, 2.5 months ago or something like that. And just the amount of work that's gone into this and the dedication from the team has blown me away. I'm super excited, and you know, I wish everybody luck in the future, and it's going to be great. And thank you to the community too for we get feedback from you guys all the time of, you know, how great we're doing, and we really appreciate it. Any of the DMs that I get and everything, I share that with the team, and they're very grateful for the, you know, those kind of kudos that we're getting from you guys. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Cool. Well, let's wrap it up. I'll give everybody 5 minutes back, and thanks so much for hopping on for this week's community dev update. We'll keep the weekly rhythm. At the end of next week, we'll be wrapping up the candidate audit. So if there's any news around that, and then the following week will be just getting everything ship shape for Mainnet, and then the following week will be the day before we launch the blockchain. So we'll just keep this rhythm of weekly updates. I think sometime shortly after Mainnet launch, we'll shift out of a weekly dev update, community dev update, and probably get into a monthly dev update. They'll just, we'll see what makes sense, but maybe shift and have a little bit less regular so people have more time. So yeah, again, thanks so much to all of you, and really excited about the next steps, and I'll see you all on the interwebs.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks.
out.
Bye.
Bye bye.